So today we're going to be going through the proper way to how to assemble a mouthpiece for the ParvoMedics True One system. We have really two options here. We have a bite valve or a bite mouthpiece, and then we also have a mask. The masks come in 3 different sizes as well. So there are certain situations where you'd want to use one or the other for this, but the setup is basically the same. So we are building this for both of them, and it's just a couple of different pieces that are going to allow us to have one-way flow of air in, so that we can breathe in air, and then that would pass on to the subject, and then when the person exhales, air goes out the other way. So this is called a one-way valve mouthpiece, and I'm going to start out with this piece here. So as you can see, it's set up so that we can have it really facing either direction, right or left. And depending on whether you want to set it up right or left, you turn it upside, or one side up or the other side up. In this case, the side with the arrows on top, so there are little arrows on here, shows the flow coming in this way and in that way, and then the flow coming out that way and going out that way. So in this case, when the arrows are up, this would be set up so that we could basically have the cart on this right side. So for the setup today, I'll actually set it up the other way so we can have the cart on the left side. So I'm going to go arrows down, and what I'm going to start with is these pieces over here. So for these little one-way valves, we are going to stretch them over a little plastic device that's going to hold those open and hold them in place. So I'm just getting this down so it sits flush against the back rim on there, and that's seated the way that we want it to go, and now you can see that that's how that works. So when there's any amount of suction, that's going to hold that closed. I will set up the other one the same way. When we're doing this, we're always going to use gloves. The reason being is someone else is going to put their mouth on this device, so we don't want to be touching it with ungloved hands. And there's the second one set up, so that's ready to go. Now when I look at this, it's important to pay attention to those arrows, because that's the way we're going to set this up. So the one that comes in this way and into the person's mouth, we will basically place this in there just like that. So that's set up, and then I will secure that in there by using this white piece. And what I'll do is go counterclockwise just a bit, because the threading is really pretty fine. So if I go counterclockwise, it's going to sit better on there. And I didn't even get it that time, so I'm going to go backwards again. And you'll hear maybe a little bit of a click when you get it to the point where you want to start turning clockwise. And it is tricky, so you don't want to force it if you're not in the right spot. Okay, so it should roll on there smoothly like that. That one is set up. And then I'll do the other one. So this is going to be put on the opposite way, as this one was facing in to allow airflow in. This one faces out the other way to allow airflow to go out. And again, the same thing. When I put this on here, I'm going to go counterclockwise just a little bit till I hear a little click, and then I will just spin it on there nice and snug. And now this is set up to let air go out the other way. So that's what creates one-way flow of air through this device. Now I said I was going to set it up so that we could hook this up on the system on the left side. So I'm going to go arrows down, and with that I will then put the spit trap. So this is aptly named. It's going to trap the spit, and there will be spit. So we will just secure that on there like that. and then put this other stopper on top. The only purpose of that is just plugging the hole on the top. That on the other one is where we had the spit trap. So we just have an upside down setup from there. Finally, the last piece, and this is what's going to go out to your subject, is this little white piece. And again, I went counterclockwise and then clockwise to tighten it. And that's set up. So that's a complete mouthpiece. Now we just decide what we want to put on here. And this would be for the bite valve. And to use this other one, all we're going to do is just switch out this piece with this piece. And again, take your time with getting this threading on there. It's just a little bit touchy, and once you cross thread it, it won't work anymore, so just be careful with that. And then this is a challenging part, so basically I'm going to try to stretch this over here. And it will stretch, but it takes a little bit of doing, especially with the gloves. It makes it more challenging, but we of course want to wear these gloves. So now this is set up to have a person put that on, and we have some straps to wear that. But that is the setup for the one-way mouthpiece. So that's the beginning of what you're going to do as far as your Parvo True One setup. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week.